Hey everybody, it's Angelo with Angelo's Workbench. Welcome back to video number 2 in the How to Convert a Muscle Car to Right-Hand Drive video series, working with the MPC Country Charger. What we're going to do right now is get working straight away on getting the body in primer and color. Okay, so the parts have been removed from the sprues on the Country Charger here. And we've got all the parts here. I noticed something with the right-hand drive conversion. One of the other things that they would convert is they would convert the rear turn signals to amber. So I got to figure out how I'm going to do that. What they would do is they would just replace the middle section of red with amber, because I guess in Australia turn signals from the back can't be red, they have to be amber. So, and if I'm not mistaken, they're not the only country that's like that. So I was thinking that I would just mask off a small portion, spray it silver, and then over the silver put the clear orange, and then that would give it the appearance of an amber lens nestled in the middle of the red ones. But I have assembled the motor, which will be painted orange. I've got the front grille ready to go, and then I had to these inserts go in there. I had to do a lot of body. It's an MPC kit, so basically you know, there's a lot of sanding and some light engineering in order to get it to work. The back of the rear of the body had to be sanded substantially to fit the rear bumper. The front of the body had to be manipulated quite a bit in order to fit the front end. But it's all looking real good. These Chargers. I wanted to call it a Challenger. These Chargers are such good looking cars. Well, the Challengers are good looking cars too. They're all good. Mopar. I'm a big Mopar fan. But anyway, so I've been doing some work on this. I've got the panel lines a little deeper. They look good. The body has some issues still. I've got a high point right here that I got to figure out. I've got a little funkiness. This line down the body here on this MPC kit has been somewhat troublesome, and you can see I've got a little lip right there. Can you see that? And that little lip's got to go. So I'm not done priming. So I'm going to sand on this a little bit more, and then I'm going to give it another coat of primer. The dashboard came out marvelously. I can't find it at the moment. Oh, it's in the interior. What a silly place for it to be, in the interior. The putty has been applied, as you saw, and that looks good. So this is ready for a coat of primer. In fact, you know what? I'll give it a coat of primer when I'm doing this. So the interior I don't think is going to be black, because you know, we're going through all this work in this interior. We're converting it to a right-hand drive, and then it's just going to disappear into a sea of black inside the car that you're never going to see. So I'm thinking I might do a light-colored interior. I was thinking maybe like a tan or a light brown. The box art has a color that I think I might do. The box art has like a tan or brown. So I think I might go with that. And then I was thinking maybe of trying to get a color similar to this. Since Australia's colors are green and gold, why not try that? So that's what my plan is for right now. I'm going to sand on this a little more, and then we're going to go to the booth and we're going to shoot some paint on all these parts. So the color has been mixed for the Challenger. Charger. It's a Charger, not a Challenger. The Country Charger. The color has been mixed. I want to try and I'm looking for something similar to that because, boy, I really like the look of that. And since this is getting converted to right-hand drive, and while I recognize that there are many countries with right-hand drive, it is an Australian gentleman who gave me the idea. So I'm going to paint this car in Australian colors, which I did some Googling and found out that they are green and gold, even though that's not the color on their flag, which confuses me a little. But hey, it's green and gold, and green and gold is going to look fantastic. So what I've created is this concoction. And this is done with the Createx color system. They have just about anything that you need to make any kind of color you need. And it works out really good with the airbrush. I keep their technical data sheets handy so that I know exactly how to mix it, how to spray it, how to do everything with it. I first covered the car with what they call their auto-born sealer, silver. This stuff is very difficult to use. I find that you have to do very thin coats. Even though it wants a wet coat, it has to be a very thin wet coat, which can be tricky. And several of those thin wet coats yields you what would look like a silver car, basically. And it's because the paints that I'm going to use on top of it are transparent. You want to have that metal flake, that silver, in there to show through the color. Even though this does have a metal flake in it, and let me tell you why. Because how I got this color is I started out with a 50-50 mix of Candy 2.0 Poison Green and UVLS Clear. The UVLS Clear, which they refer to as their 40-50, is the carrier medium for the Candy 2.0. The Candy 2.0 is an aniline dye. Am I saying that right? There it is. Aniline dye. And there is no metal flake in this. And it's a candy. So the more that you cover, the more coats that you put on, the darker it gets. Well, it wasn't quite dark enough. And I wanted a little metal flake in it as well. So I mixed in the pearlized pearl green. Now, these are transparent colors. If you paint them over black, you get a little hint of green over black is what you get. So your base coat has to be kind of close to the color that you're looking for. And what I want is a transparent green over the silver. So this is all going to work out beautifully. But again, it still wasn't quite dark enough. So I added one single solitary drop, and you'd be amazed the difference that it makes, of Wicked Jet Black. One single solitary drop. And then I mixed it all up, and I came up with this. Oh, I'm just going to spill it all over the place now. And I came up with this, and I am excited. So this is going to the booth to spray over the silver. I'm not sure how many coats I'm going to do. I'm probably going to do 2 to 3 coats. And then it's the nice thing about water-based. Boy, it just cleans right up. You get it on your hands, no big deal. So I'm probably going to do 2 to 3 coats of this. We will see how it covers, what it looks like. Again, I'm going for that kind of dark green. And then the gold is going to come in because the stripes on the back, the vertical stripes that go up the back end and across the trunk, I'm going to paint those in gold. And I think the green and gold is going to look very nice. And then with the brown interior, which again, an idea I got from the box art, so that we're not doing black to show off the right-hand drive conversion. We want to show that off. That's going to be, it's going to look good. So let's go to the spray booth. Well, after having to modify the color, I ended up adding a little bit more of this to get a little more flake out of it, because I wanted the candy pearl to really pop. And I added about 6 more drops of black to darken it up more. And after about 6 coats, I ended up with this, which I will still do a little color sand, and because you get stuff in it, it's just the way it is. I'll do a little color sand and cover it with a 2K clear. And that's the body. Here's the hood, and nicely enough, we ended up with just about the same color. I keep very close track of how many coats go on, because if you do more coats on the hood than you do on the body, you end up with a little bit of a different color, obviously, and it gets a little wonky. So I added a little more black, darkened it up, a little more green to flake it up a little more, give it a little more pearl, and then about 6 or 7 coats, and that's what I end up with. And I'm really liking that green. It's going to be fantastic. And that's it. Let's get back to work. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, in Australia they have to have rear turn signals that are amber and not red. So, what it appears that they did, I've seen several pictures of Dodge Chargers that have gone to Australia, and what they basically did was take the center section of the taillight and turn it into an amber. I don't have any markings on here, however, so what I'm going to try to do is duplicate what they did by hand. It should be about there. That's about right. So by painting this silver, setting myself up for being able to put some clear orange on there. And that is about right, and at about the right spot. I'm gonna move this tail light over a little closer to this one so I can work closer together. They don't have to be perfect, but they have to be close, at least. And I love these silver Sharpies. You know, they work great for, you got to do something silver real quick and easy. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Get out silver paint. And it yields a very good silver, these silver Sharpies. It's metallic and it looks good. I also use red Sharpies sometimes for taillights that aren't molded in clear red, or amber Sharpies for amber. I might do that this time. Who knows? Or I might spray it with Tamiya clear orange. We'll see. If you let the silver set up real good, you can usually go over it with a amber marker. Now see, this one's kind of dying down. That's okay. I have a whole stash of Sharpies that I use. Oh yeah, this one's much better. They do dry out eventually. Okay, there. So now I have two silver sections in the center of this tail light. I'm gonna let that cure real good. And then I'm either going to hit it with an orange Sharpie or some Tamiya clear orange. We'll see what happens. And the nice thing about this too is if you do make a mistake, a lot of times you can clean it off or buff it off with a little bit of, I found a little bit of polishing compound will sometimes take it off. But anyway, so that's tail lights. Okay, I'm gonna give the orange Sharpie a try. These have cured. The orange Sharpie mutes out the silver a little, which at this point is actually a good thing because I don't want them to be bright orange. I want them to be kind of muted. In the orange, you typically got to give it a couple of coats. So we're just going to let that cure. And they do cure exceptionally fast. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. There it is. So now I've got a couple of amber lights in the center of my red, which would make this street legal for Australia, mate. There we go. That's going to be the end of part 2 in the MPC Country Charger video series, converting it over to right-hand drive. Go ahead and click that like and subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber. Don't forget to hit that bell so you get notified when I upload new content. Also, comments are always appreciated. Any questions? Also, now on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, all as Angelo's Workbench. Thank you for tuning in.